this when Deviantart was just about, you know, people who had sexual deviancies making really bad artwork of it, and then listening to Medicare cough AIDS laugh while destroying how ridiculous these people are? But apparently now you can, like, write articles on DeviantArt for some reason. And this person, BTNF Studios, I don't know who they are, probably completely irrelevant, but I think it's really funny after I opened this from Stream Suggestions. Rant number 10, Kirsche Verstal. Oh boy, it's time to see everything they get wrong. Hello everyone, BTNF Studios here, and after 2 years of hiatus, oh boy, mans came out of retirement to lie about a fucking anime fox woman. And after 2 years of hiatus, my rant series is back thanks to Matthew the Prep. He requested me to make not one, but 3 rants of the infamous right-wing VTubers and transphobes. Bro, I don't think I'm infamous or famous, nor am I fucking transphobic, brother. What the hell? I'm gonna do Kirsche Verstal first, since Matthew told me a few facts about her. Facts, eh? Facts, eh? Now, you all know that ever since the convicted felon got re-elected, trans Americans are in fear of being erased from US history, and transphobia has been rising. Well, wait until you hear of this transphobe! If you don't know Kirsche Verstal very well, she's known to be a VTuber responsible for spreading conspiracies, truly living up to the Alex Jones moniker. Defending a white woman by the name of Shiloh Hendricks, I literally didn't do that. There are like dozens of videos of people pointing out how I literally did not do that. Who made the news for being racist to a black 5-year-old minor. All right, the way that he put the comma here instead of using like the double dash makes it look like I made the news for being racist to a 5-year-old, which I didn't. I'm not gonna call a 5-year-old the N-word because that's fucking weird to do, man. And infamously leading a massive harassment campaign against trans journalist Anna Valens and trans VTuber Nyara, exclamation point. Although much of the harassment against the latter is being led by Asmongold, which will be the subject of the next rant. Chat, I'm so famous, I got a rant before Asmongold. That's crazy. Where are my 35,000 viewers to back that up? Also, that's crazy. That's crazy. Infamously leading a massive harassment campaign against anal violence and Yara. I think you mean them leading a harassment campaign against me. Yara doing so even before anal violence got fucking involved. And it got so bad to the point that I had to leave my fucking apartment. So I don't really give a shit. You live by the sword, you die by the sword, man. I didn't advocate for anyone to harass these people. But if their own dumb actions are gonna get people mad at them, what the fuck do you want me to do about it? Like, holy shit. How dare you, fox woman? It was me. My Oshi is more scary to the mental hospital escapees than Asmon? That's crazy. At least Asmon defends his wife. But first, let me give you a little backstory of anal violence. He is a journalist working for Vice Waypoint, not anymore, where he covers things related to pop culture and even queer and trans representation in gaming. He even wrote an article himself titled, "Why is this gamer subs VTuber pushing the great replacement theory?" which was literally a way to manufacture consensus and try and force gamer subs into dropping creators, not just me, but anyone that might have a slightly foul of like the Twitter sphere general freak opinion, where he goes into detail about Kirsche herself. Wrong detail. Like many right-wing conservatives in America, Kirsche is incredibly transphobic, saying that trans women are, and I quote, autogynephiliac males with power-hungry threats and graphic murder fantasies. That's not a quote, you lying fucking candy ass! But this is the post that they reference. Whenever they talk about me being transphobic, this is the post that they're referencing. And he says here, and I quote, autogynephiliac males with power-hungry threats and graphic murder fantasies. And this is how these smear merchants, exactly how Anal Violence quoted it as well, they left out the full context of my post. It's responding to somebody else, quote tweeting a hate trans people kill yourself button. And my post says, once it's realized that most trans activists are autogynephiliac males or ideologues pushing their political views with an identity shield to prevent criticism, all of the power-hungry threats and graphic murder fantasies make a lot more sense. If you're going to try and paint me as a bad person, at least fucking quote me correctly. If you have to pick apart and readjust my quote in order to make me look bad, you are the bad person. You are being a disingenuous shit-eater. You're not a journalist, you're not a freedom fighter, you're not a revolutionary, you are a shit stain on the ground. You don't misquote people purposefully. Direct quotes or get the fuck out. And this quote of mine is literally fucking evergreen. I've had to bring it up so many times because it describes so many situations we read about. But context does not fit the narrative and does not help with the slander. It doesn't. And this is, again, how you know these people are maliciously lying. They're not doing things to inform people. They're not doing things to try and be a good person. They're virtue signaling and they're trying to slander or libel, whatever the fuck the writing version is, someone because they just don't like them. These people probably don't even know why they don't like me. They just repeat things that they've heard. Very curious how all the trans scumfucks keep conflating activists with the actual or average trans individual. I wonder why that is. Gee, I wonder who's in the best interest of to keep conflating actual dysphoric people with the activists. Really gets your noggin chalking, don't it? Bruce Sobelvaro, thank you. For those who want to shift the narrative, the EU has a document titled Replacement Migration that details how they will replace the aging European population. Not a theory, it's an EU mandate. He who shall not be named, thank you. The sentient turds have an incentive to take me out of context and outright lie. I expose them for what they really are. It's very interesting how that works, you know? Oh, we're gonna get to that later. Back to this. Yeah, and I quote, autogynephiliac males with power-hungry threats and graphic murder fantasies. Literally took me the time to find where I pinned the tweet to prove that wrong. If that isn't worse enough for you, she even spurred the Great Replacement theory, saying that there was a hostile demographic takeover happening here in the States and across the pond in the UK, while railing against the creation of a mosque in England. A mosque in England that's being created with tax dollars. A giant mega mosque, by the way. And also, it's not the Great Replacement theory. I'm not saying the Jews are doing this. I repeated what Keir Starmer fucking said himself, that politicians in the UK are doing it by design. Hillary Clinton since then has come out and said that yes, that's happening here too. That is what we are doing.
What convinced you of your theory?
Well,
what started to happen was they just
one of the
started
reasons why
saying
our
it publicly
economy
in
did
front
so
of
much
cameras.
better than comparable advanced economies across the world is because we actually had a replenishment, because we had a lot of immigrants, legally and undocumented, who had a larger than normal, by American standards, family. So,
isn't that just slavery with extra steps? It's just surprising to me in a way that this is still fucking happening, as it were. And it's like, I'm probably gonna have to deal with the same thing with that, like, Reddit post of anytime someone's like, how is she a Nazi? And someone's gonna link that Reddit post that can easily be debunked with every single link in like, less than 10 minutes, man. That's gonna follow me for years now. Jeez, Matthew wasn't kidding when he sent me info about her. Who the fuck is this Matthew? Alright, I brought up his DeviantArt. Inactive account. Matthew the Prep, artist, deviant for 9 years. I'm no longer active here. If you're looking to find me elsewhere, check the link below the stamps. I'm Matthew G, doing business as Matthew the Prep. The rules, please follow them. Be respectful. While I wish he would have done that to me. Do not bully me. No racism, homophobia, or sexism allowed. Isn't it kind of sexist to libel a woman? Aren't you kind of going against your own rules there? Ain't you being kind of misogynist? Do not block me. It pisses me off. Respect my opinions. I absolutely will not, because you do not respect mine. Do not make hate arts of me. What? Criticism is okay, but insulting one of my arts isn't. I haven't even seen your art, but I bet it's shit. Do not make an anti-group on me. Do not lie about me. I wish he could do by his own rules. I wish he would not lie about me. Do not impersonate me. Don't spam me. If you don't like something that I like, or vice versa, I will respect your opinion just as long as you respect mine. And our lie detector determined that that was a lie.
So that was a fucking lie.
What a flaming hypocrite. I know, it's crazy. Who is this man's? What's on his blue sky? Man's got 129 following, 84 followers. Oh my god. 19? And this guy's 19 and he's trying to fucking play the let me lie about people I disagree with game? Holy shit. What about his YouTube? What about his YouTube? Oh, the classic flag in bio. 17 subscribers? Why the fuck? Why the fuck does this guy care about Anime Foxwoman? Reddit? He's got an account on Internet Archive. Another day, another bigoted thumbnail from the meth dealer. Oh, it's Nerdrotic! What the fuck? How is... What the fuck? The Manosphere TikToker is completely insane in saying this shit? What the fuck? Why is it that so many people like Nerdrotic and his friends voted for the Orange Monster? What made them want to beg companies with their politics in media? The thumbnail's fucking awful, just like the rest of the meth dealers' videos. What the fuck is going on? He was doing meth, not selling it. What a retard. Shake my head. Can a nerd have his fucking Nerdrotic catching strays out here? Jesus Christ. This is not very Keanu Reeves. It's one of those channels. God, dorks like making anyone into right-wing darlings no matter what their target's political stances might be. Isn't that what they're trying to do to me? Like, what the fuck? First official look. Oh, this is where Tectone was like, but the character's not black. And everyone was like, Tectone's a racist. How dare he have eyeballs that work? Oh my, every woke cartoon show flop explained in 12 minutes. Man, can't wait to see Elon Musk get brutally mocked by South Park, even though he's appeared before. I'm pretty sure Matt and Trey would have a field day in mocking the muskrat in this day and age. In other news, Melanie Mack decided to privatize her Twitter for some reason or another. Image courtesy of the STK Discord server. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know what the fuck that is. Melanie Mack, some Jessica Negri wannabe who ended up pivoting to far-right politics after having been divorced. Basically, in essence, she's a bigoted e-girl. I got some bad news for this guy about most e-girls. He can't wait for popular media to affirm my opinions. Imagine. All right, I think that's enough of that kind of cancer. Holy shit. And good God, I thought individuals and groups like Libs of TikTok, aka Chaya Rychik, just fucking post. I mean, she's already been doxxed, so her name is out there and she already made an account. But like, that's crazy that he would just say that. And also, comparing me to Libs of TikTok is insane. What the fuck? I thought individuals and groups like Libs of TikTok, gays for groomers, isn't it gays against groomers? What does he mean? And moms for liberty were disgusting enough. And the worst of all, she had the audacity to push the harassment campaign to the point where Anna had no choice but to leave Blue Sky indefinitely. Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad that anal violence deactivated for a few days and otherwise wasn't in any kind of danger. And I had to leave my apartment because I had physical threats to my safety and called my police and they suggested I go somewhere else for a while. Because they can't do anything unless something actually happens. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy that that's the side that you're taking. Anal violence had to leave Blue Sky. I had to leave town. Yeah, right. Well, Matthew wasn't wrong about her, that's for sure. I would go on to say some more, but you know what? I'll leave you guys these links for more info. Content warning, racism and transphobia. If Fen Gay, Gamergate never ended, we just call it drama now. We read this Queer Quimson post, how 2 trans creators were harassed. Finding the Truth Project, WordPress, Texas Terror Part 3, Patriot Front. I think we also read that one.
Flashback.
And so I look at this, and he's got a picture here that says, new article up. This one discusses Patriot Front and their tactical similarities to certain right-wing VTuber personalities. Hashtag I stand with Anna Valens, hashtag fuck Nazis, hashtag Twitch, hashtag VSky, hashtag Nazi VTubers fuck off, hashtag alt-right. And this says Texas Terror Part 3, Patriot Front. I'm like, what the fuck? And then there's another picture here from someone called the Spectre Report. I don't know who that is. And it says, going live on Rumble, talking about the return of John Lee Baird and his newest friend, serial defamer Laura Iziguer of McDade, Texas, and her defending John's rape of a 14-year-old child while he was a teacher in Austin.
End of flashback.
I was like, it's hilarious and also a bit frustrating that like the lies just do not stop. And then we have the Sports Kita article. I said I wouldn't cease and desist this one because unironically, this fucking weird anarchist Indian, they prove themselves wrong in the article. Like, their article title is clickbait, and then they prove themselves wrong by linking the full timestamp. The timestamp isn't here anymore because I think, like, Twitch VODs expire, but, like, they proved themselves wrong here. And this has been immortalized in multiple people's videos of them showing this article and then playing the clip and being like, yeah, they're just fucking lying. There's a new note. Note, VTuber Kirsche noted that it's not okay to call people, especially a child, the N-word. However, she defended Hendrix's right to fundraise while comparing it to the Carmelo Anthony controversy. Yeah. Because why wouldn't she be able to fundraise for saying a word when a guy is fundraising for murdering someone else? Like, that is insane if you're going to compare the two. Thank you for pointing that out. I didn't see they added a fucking note to it. Disingenuous people. Why didn't you guys make an article about the Carmelo Anthony GoFundMe? I didn't even know they had comments here. I've never seen the word seemingly used so way above its weight limit. It has to do some serious heavy lifting on the word following it. I fear for its poor thin little arms shaking under the strain of the incredulity caused by the author's take. How can any sane human being in any way interpret her comments on the hypocrisy on agreeing with one of the fundraisers? Yes, the author is probably insane or has an agenda to push. The source video with the provided timestamp debunks the whole article right away. Is this a test to check if your readers are even checking sources anymore? I genuinely believe this is more of an assassination of character attempt than anything else. Pretty good takes from her. The company who would take money from murderers now has to return money to a crazy woman who said racist things. I'd rather be called racist things than be stabbed. Kirsche acknowledged that this is not a good trajectory to have, but it's what's happening. Imagine shooting the messenger for pointing out what they see with their eyes. That's crazy. Atlas levels of heavy lifting. Good luck with the lawsuit when it happens. VTubers are of the mindset why they're popular. It's not controversial. Low IQ boomer take. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Wonderful that's great. I didn't know that there were comments on this article. That's new to me. So that's crazy that they're using this as like a fucking link of proof. And then, what's this? What are these archives? Are these gonna be the Vice articles? Yep. Still, I'm glad they used a very based picture for the slander articles. All right, let's go. I may not be a part of the VTube community.
Oh no! The tourists are here!
But let me say this. No, say nothing. Get the fuck out, tourist. The entire VTubing community, indies included, needs to get their act together and call out the transphobic crimes Kirsche and by extension Asmongold have committed against both Anna and Nyara. The fact that they are not stepping up is incredibly concerning, and trans gamers deserve better. If anything I did was a crime, which it's not, by the way, anal violence would be held far more responsible for me having to leave my home than anything I've said or done. I don't think these people want to play that game. Asmon is relegated to being my extension. That's crazy. That's crazy how they're relegating Asmon to my extension when I'm like this microscopic anime woman and he's fucking Asmongold. You know, I've always been on the side that you shouldn't get in trouble for what your spouse says, you know? They have big microphones. Oh, thank you. I know my microphone is bigger than yours. It's time that they use them to call out transphobia and give justice to Anna and Yara once and for all. The only justice would be anal violence leaving the internet forever. They've made a fool of themselves way too many times. The next part of the saga should be coming up soon enough. In the meantime, thanks for listening. There's no comments on this, so I can't read other people's brain damage. But, the rant to Asmongold. This rant will contain mentions of transphobia and right-wing propaganda, although worth mentioning that this will be a touchy subject to discuss in a rant, and admittedly will lead to harassment. However, the thing to make clear is we will not stand down in our battle to protect the trans community and stop fascism. This person was counting on harassment, I guess, and then like nobody even noticed that these happened until someone linked it months later in my stream suggestions channel. And I was like, look at this mental illness on display. Look at this fucking freak. What harassment? Like they were like hoping to get harassment because they're like, yeah, if I get harassed, then I can springboard my career. However, the thing to make clear is we will not stand down in our battle to protect the trans community and stop fascism, said the man looking into a mirror. Here's the second and final part of the Anna and Yara saga. This time, the rant will be on Asmongold, aka Zach Rar. For those of you who don't know him, consider yourself lucky. Asmongold is a Twitch streamer, or should I say, the worst one. If you want to know why he's the worst, it's because that, like Kirsche, he has also harassed Yara, and also for his anti-Palestinian comments, which I'll explain later. For now, let's dive into this shit. As mentioned before, Asmongold is a Twitch streamer, World of Warcraft fanboy who plays the game constantly on Twitch. And of course, the second harasser of Anna and Yara. Not even going to explain it, since of course he does it alongside Kirsche. I really want to know what kind of drugs these people have to take to constantly live in an alternate reality, and it never has any, like, negative effects on their brain. Like, how do you live in such a parallel universe? It doesn't make sense to me. Asmon hasn't played WoW for, like, 3 years.
Would I go back and play WoW again? I mean, like, there was a lot of really good times, but I mean, I'm just not really, I'm not really feeling it, man. I'm just not.
Now on to the worst moment he did on Twitch. Y'all ready? Take a deep breath. He ranted about Palestinians. Let me explain in full detail. Aside from playing games, Asmongold often does live stream chat sessions where he comments on other people's YouTube videos or whatever topics and are gaining traction on his dedicated subreddit. You may be thinking, what's the harm in live stream? Oh my god, this guy is such a candy ass. Here's the thing, in the midst of the live stream he did, he talked about the Gaza-Israel war, which the Gaza Health Ministry confessed that it has killed over 40,000 Palestinians since it began just over a year ago following the October 7th attack by Hamas. I'm not going to take anything this guy says at face value. I don't know enough about the war to talk about it, but anything this guy says, I can probably just write off as a lie based on how much it lied about me. Here's what he said. If you want to consider a genocide as a systemic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy people don't see it that way. They'd be doing the same thing. These people are not your allies. They're not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is distinctly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways. And I said, Asmongold, I'm pretty sure I said that Asmongold is saying what just a lot of people normally think, but at a higher level, right? Most people are just like, yeah, I don't really give a shit about either sand country. Not my sand, not my problem. I don't want American troops on the ground. You know? Rabid trans activists acting like complete freaks. Do they really think they can be taken seriously? Have these people ever lived in reality? They haven't. They haven't. And I mean, Asmongold went a little hard when he said this, because he got crazy fucking heat for going as hard as he did. I thought Asmongold harassing Anna and Yara was bad enough, but the fact that he only disrespected the victim, or not only disrespected the victims of the war, but insulted Palestinians were horrific and disgusting. I don't want the war to be happening. I don't think the war should be happening. Most people don't want to be involved in it. It's not their country, and they don't want to have to think about it. He was right to be criticized by various Twitch users, streamers, and others. And I mean, again, what he said went a bit over the top, you know, but he also hasn't brought on terrorists and glazed them. So him getting the amount of pushback that he got is a little crazy considering what else is allowed on Twitch. I think more people would be okay accepting some kind of repercussions for extreme speech if it was applied equally. It's the hypocritical double standard that people have a problem with. It's that some people are allowed to say crazy and extreme things, and if you even come close to anything like halfway as extreme as that, you get punished. In fact, they've even pointed to the Amazon-owned platform's terms of service and community guidelines, which prohibits hate speech that reinforces negative stereotypes about or tries to dehumanize protected groups. You know how they said protected groups? So that means that it's okay to reinforce negative stereotypes or to dehumanize people that aren't part of those protected groups. They even called for Twitch to ban Asmongold for what he did, which luckily they did, but only for 14 days. It may not have been justice, but at least he won't insult more Palestinians. He didn't mention Palestinians, man. I think what I find interesting, right, is like these people who try to make people like myself or Asmon into like these big scary monsters with all of their lies and their taken out of context and their misquotes. they push more people to become more radicalized because it's like, if you're already running around lying about me, calling me some kind of extremist radical, and I've already had to feel the repercussions of you lying about me, then what is preventing me from going further than the positions I already have? If I've already been lied about and lambasted and felt repercussions for opinions and stances I don't have, what is stopping me from being further radicalized if you're ensuring that I'm being pushed in that direction? Like, they don't seem to understand that they are creating the things that they think they're fighting against. They're not fighting against anything but regular people and turning those regular people into radicals against them. Oh my god. Hassan Abi, another okay, of course, who's been an outspoken advocate for Palestinian rights for years, invited Asman to his own channel to severely chastise his comments and push back on the racist rhetoric. Luckily, Asman backed off his original remarks, but stopped short of saying he was wrong. Here's his apology that he posted on Twitter. I don't want to call it X since it's a stupid name. Looking back on it, I was way too much of an asshole about the Palestine thing. My bad, of course. No one deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive. You guys deserve more than me saying stupid shit like that. I'll do better. Although it was good he admitted his wrongdoing, I do have to agree with the other users that he didn't go nearly far enough, and that he immaturely caved to the backlash. All they did, right? All these people did by Asman stepping down as like a public face of OTK and fucking Mythic. There we go. I was like, the thing that I'm a part of. All they did was unchain him. All they did was unchain him so he could say even crazier shit. Like, how do they not realize this? No apology is enough for these people. Yeah, you just cannot please them. Yeah, and like him stepping down, much like me removing the Gamer Subs badge, I don't think was any kind of like punishment. It was more, he didn't want people merely associated with his organizations to get any sort of fallout from these insane people. Because he's been online long enough to know how insane these people are. The grilled cheese, enjoy you, thank you. These people don't understand, lie, and call someone a monster long enough, and eventually they will become one. Yep. Yep. It's just like, people posting like those graphs and whatnot that show how Gen Z is supposedly far more progressive. I don't think Gen Z is more progressive, and I don't think they're more conservative either. I see both camps of people claiming that.
Isn't this bitch a Nazi?
Hassan Abi, another streamer. An outspoken advocate for Palestinian rights. Someone pick up the phone because I fucking called IT. This to brainlet is a goddamn Hassan simp.
Yep.
Mike from PA only got a week ban for dehumanizing Jews, but Asman got 2 weeks. WTF.
It really seems like it's becoming okay to dehumanize Jews, unfortunately. You know? That's gonna be clipped out of context. But like, people on the left started doing that same thing, and so they're calling people Nazis while simultaneously calling for like the death of Jewish people. They don't see how fucking retarded that sounds. Mercenary 21, thank you. You never apologize, you just keep going, and then they get antagonized for it. If they get mad, all the better. You just want to have video games and be left alone. It's crazy how these people do not want to leave you alone. If only we could be left alone, none of this would be happening. They do understand that their rhetoric creates monsters. They want monsters. Monsters make for better future targets. They want to push everyone into the obedient camp and the target camp, with nothing left in between. Well, where I was going was like they post like the graphs and whatnot showing how like, oh, Gen Z is more progressive, and it's like, no they're not. But you also don't understand. This isn't about like conservative and progressive anymore at this point. Sure, there's going to be a large swath of Gen Z lost to the propaganda and the brainwashing. That's just, you know, every generation is going to have a bigger and bigger swath lost to that until we finally fix the issue of Marxism in general. But there's also an entire demographic of men with nothing to lose. And men who have been blamed since birth for all of the evils in the world, who have nothing to lose, is a very scary thing to think about. Mr. Paroxysm, thank you. Remember when people screeched that Trump will start World War III? And now they're pissed that he's trying to broker peace? Did they forget they called him a warmonger? I don't think they forget. They just try to say any kind of shit and hope it sticks. Like, they're just not truthful people. And so it doesn't matter when reality moves somewhere else that they weren't truthful about. They're just going to keep lying. Although it was good he admitted to the wrongdoing, I do have to agree with other users that he didn't go nearly far enough. And that he immaturely caved to the backlash. Again, apologizing to these people does nothing. It's just blood in the water, but Asmongold is way too large and his blood is way too filled with the poisons of Nurgle for them to do anything with it. They posted, this is coming from a fan who's been frequently watching for over a decade. I bet it was. Everyone who prefaces a comment about me with, I used to like Kirsche, but, and it's always some bullshit that doesn't even make any sense. This wasn't just an, oh shit, my bad. You gotta apologize properly. Saying an entire culture and ethnicity is inferior is literally Nazism and racism. It's disgusting. Are you not allowed to point out when some cultures might be inferior? Like, if, I don't know, they're participating in cannibalism or female genital mutilation, or they're committing circumcisions with, like, bone tools that can't even be sterilized, so men's penises just fall off, right? Like, are you not allowed to say that maybe that's a little inferior to the way that things could be done, you know? You used to like Kirsche, but then she said Munya, and now I love her. Oh my god, you can stop it. Performing circumcisions. With cannibalism, the meat tastes good. Cannibalism is ethical. Well, now is the time for ethical cannibalism. That is true. Thank you, New York Times.